Hey guys, thanks for watching Refuge. I just want to welcome you again to watching it. We appreciate you watching the show and hope that God speaks to you each week as you get the chance to watch Refuge and what God is doing here at Taylor Road Baptist Church. Over the next 3 weeks, we're going to have a guest speaker with us. His name's Scott Wilson, one of my great friends. He and I work together at Westside Family Church just outside of Kansas City, and he's going to be speaking with us, and we did a series titled Ruined. And he came and he did this over our Weekend Disciple Now, and it was just an awesome weekend. And so we're excited about what God did through Scott and just wanted to share that with you guys on Refuge.
I want you guys this weekend to go ahead right now, if you haven't already been doing so, just begin to pray this prayer, God ruined me. Just begin just in your mind and through your heart, God ruined me. And that's what we're going to talk about this weekend as we go through this thing. And as we're getting ready for that, who has had like this major event take place in their life that you would actually share with me? I know you don't know me. We just met, and this is going to make us best friends. Who has had a major event that's taken place in your life that you want to tell me about? Right there. Go ahead. You accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. That's incredible. Nobody else can use that when that is a major event. Somebody else give me another major event. Wow, you guys need to get out more, really. In the back, yeah. All right, rededication. All right, what else? And I'm not blowing past these things like they're nothing. I'm just saying we've got a lot of people. I want to hear a lot of answers. What else? What?
I said, come on, you guys.
This guy's like dragging you because he's already answered. And he's like, somebody. What happened? Give me a major event. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Somebody else. You were born. That would be a major event. You are absolutely correct. You don't remember that day. All right, what else? Major event in my life, October 6, 1993, Michael Jordan retired from basketball the first time. Somebody else, give me a major event. Wow. Gonna be a grandfather. That's awesome. You're gonna be an uncle. Wow. I'm sorry. What grade are you in? 8th grade. That just caught me off guard. I'm sorry. I'll go to you again. You just see this guy's got a life because he's answering a bunch of stuff. Go ahead.
I got a guitar.
You got a guitar. What kind? I asked that like I know guitars. Go ahead. Oh, now see, I do know that's pretty good. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, cool. Gonna pick up some sisters. See, and you don't even call them sister-in-laws. That's awesome. Go ahead. Yesterday was your birthday? You know what? It was my birthday too. Yeah, awesome. November 6th rocks. Wait, we're not that good of friends yet. 34. How old are you? 15. Yeah, I'm a little older than you. Go ahead. Yes, the president that has been elected. That is a major, major event. Really? Wow, I've heard of him. That's awesome. Another major event in my life. January 13th, 1999, Michael Jordan retired from basketball the second time. That was another major one, yeah. Wow, in your life. But that's okay, World War II, you were born then? Wow, you wear your age well. Anybody else, major event? You moved out of mom and dad's house. That is a major event. All right, I'm going to take these guys. Go. When you mowed a lawn for the first time. That's scary. Say it again. Cave in your lifetime. But that's okay. That is a big event. All right, you guys, have I heard from you yet? Okay, give me one more, and we got to go. Say it. What? Nice. You went to Six Flags. That's awesome, man. Last thing in my life, April 16th, 2003, Michael Jordan retired from basketball for the last time. Here's the thing. There are major things that happen in our lives. I mean, there are just major events that take place, and we're going to pick up with a major event in this guy's life named Isaiah. If you got your Bibles, open them up to Isaiah 6, and if you don't have your Bibles, we'll put it on the screen for you. But what we're picking up on is this encounter that Isaiah has with God. And basically, it starts out this way. In Isaiah chapter 6, beginning with verse 1, Isaiah writes it this way. This is his encounter with God. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a throne, high and exalted, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Now, basically what is happening here, he's saying in the year that King Uzziah died, and there's some significance to that. We're not going to go too deep into it, but basically King Uzziah had come to a point where he began to use the temple of God for his own benefit. And basically, Isaiah's writing, it's the year that he died that this happened in my life. Two major events. One, King Uzziah died. And two, I saw God. And he keeps on, it says above him, after he describes this, he says above him were seraphs, which are angels, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. And they were calling out to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. And at the sound of their voices, the doorposts and the threshold shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Imagine this. I want you to picture this. I mean, imagine that you're in this position where Isaiah is, and he sees God seated on the throne. I mean, he's having this encounter with God, and it says that he was high and exalted. It's not a throne that sits down among a lot of other thrones or anything else. It is this throne that is up there by itself, and this is what he sees. He sees these seraphs. And understand, these are creatures that God had created, and we don't see them other places in the Bible, but they had these 6 wings. And with these wings, they cover their faces. And with wings, they cover their feet. Now, here's what you need to understand about this. These seraphs, these creations that God had made, these were perfect beings. I mean, they never sinned. They didn't know anything wrong. They were holy. And they are in the presence of God, and they cover their face as if to say, even though we're perfect, even though we're holy, we can't even look at him. And even though we're perfect and even though we're holy, we can't even walk on the ground that God occupies. I mean, here's Isaiah, and he's having this encounter, and he's seeing these things, and these are not like little wimpy angels. I mean, it says, at the sound of their voices, everything shook. And they cried out to each other, Holy, holy, holy. As if to say, possibly, we can't worship you enough. We're just holy, holy, holy. Or as if to say, we recognize you as God. And even to say holy, to take that word holy, which means separate, put aside for God, that's just not good enough, but we're giving you everything we've got. And this is what he's seeing, and it says that the smoke filled the area. That in verse 4, look at this. At the end, it says, and the temple was filled with smoke, as if the presence of God just consumed everything. And Isaiah is having this encounter with God. And he's going, I remember when it was. There's no doubt about it. This is what took place. And look at the next verse, verse 5. Woe to me, Isaiah cried. I am ruined. The first time I ever looked at this or heard this passage, I wasn't quite sure what Isaiah was trying to say when he said, I'm ruined. I mean, I've never really thought about the idea that God just ruined me. I mean, I've actually thought about the opposite of that God has taken me and made me something glorious. I mean, that's what he does. Everything that he has created is glorious, and I am a creation of his. And I've never thought about it in this sense of God ruined me. But it kind of became clear to me several years ago when I started dating who is now my wife, Cassie. And there's a thing that happens in Mississippi, and I'm sure you guys have it around here somewhere, but there's this deal called the State Fair. And I love going to the State Fair. And Cassie started coming to college at the same place I was at, and she was from North Mississippi. She'd never been to the state fair before, and I wanted to introduce her to this tradition. So I invited her and her roommate to go to the state fair. We weren't dating or anything. We were just friends. And we went and we did that, and I called him again and said, hey, can you go? Well, Cassie's roommate couldn't go the second time, so it was just Cassie and I. And again, not a date, anything like that. She paid for her food. I paid for my food. We were just friends hanging out. And we went to the fair. And there are a few things that I like to do when I go to the fair. The first thing is there's this booth that they will make biscuits. And you can get a free biscuit. And you can stand in line. They'll give you a biscuit, and they'll put molasses in the middle of it. And it's incredible, and it's free. So I get that, and then I walk 2 doors down to the pig races. And I don't know if you've ever seen the pig races. It's incredible. The pigs, they run around a circle. And it amazes me for whatever reason. And then the third thing that I like to do is I like to go to the circus. Now, I like going to circuses anywhere, but when you go to the circus at the state fair, you just know it's not safe. I mean, you just know something bad's going to happen. So it's just that excitement about just waiting to see what happens. So we do all this stuff. And we go, when we get to the circus, we sit at the very top bleacher, and it's kind of chilly that night. And I remember Cassie was wearing pretty much a sleeveless shirt, and I promise, I didn't mean anything by this. This was not like a pickup line, like I wasn't smooth or anything like that. I just looked at Cassie because I knew she was cold, and I said, Cassie, if you won't think anything about it, I'll put my arm around you to keep you warm. Didn't mean anything by it, but we started dating right after that, and basically, what we would do is year after year after year, we would go to the state fair, and we would do the same thing over and over and over. We would get the biscuit, go to the pig races, go to the circus. So because of this, I decided I was going to ask Cassie to marry me at the state fair. I realize that just plays right into the whole Mississippi redneck thing. I get that, okay? I understand that part. But there was some history there. There were some things that had taken place. So I'm planning to propose to Cassie at the state fair. And we go and we do our usual deal, and we decide actually to get some funnel cake this time and take over to the circus. Now, when we get up there, I think Cassie knows. I mean, I think that she realizes this is going to happen already. So I just look at her and say, are you ready? And she just looks at me like, I don't know what you're talking about, and she begins to eat funnel cake. So I turn around, and I get down on one knee, and I'm thinking, now she's clued in. But you have to understand, I was not the best boyfriend in the world. And this is for the guys, girls. You can tune this out if you want to. But I was the type of boyfriend that every now and then I would just get down on one knee, and I would just look at her and say, I've got something really important to ask you. Would you like to go to Taco Bell? And see, all the guys are going, that's great. And all the girls are going, you're the biggest jerk ever. But that's who I was. So I'm down on one knee in the bleacher at the circus at the state fair, and she's still not buying it until I reach in my pocket and I pull out the box. And I open the box up, and I say something, will you marry me? And she chokes down the funnel cake that she's got in her mouth, and she reaches out to get the ring, and I'm thinking, she's not said yes. So I pull the ring back, and I just look at her, I said, I've got to have an answer on this. And she says yes, and I give her the ring, put it on her finger. We don't even wait for the circus. We're ready to go tell our friends and our family. So we walk out of this place, and on the way out is a photo booth set up where you can have your picture made in several different costumes or different things like that. And so we go have our picture made because this is a big deal. So we want to remember the moment. And we choose to have our picture made in the city jail where it's like this black and white picture, and we're kind of in the bars and we're smiling and that kind of stuff. And I tell Cassie to tell the lady why we're having our picture made, because I'm thinking she's going to hear it, she's going to love it, and she's going to give us free pictures. And Cassie tells the lady, we just got engaged. And I promise you, she points back at the prison, and she says, after 17 years of marriage, that's what it feels like. It ruined the idea of what we thought it was going to be like to be engaged. I mean, in our minds, we're thinking she's going to hear this, she's going to go nuts, she's going to give us free pictures, she's going to get on the loudspeaker and announce that we've just gotten engaged, and the elephants from the circus are going to come out and do a little dance, and everybody's going to celebrate, and it's going to be this big deal. And she brought us back to the reality of really outside of our circle of friends and family, nobody really cared. And especially from her viewpoint of what was going on, it didn't matter to her. And it ruined this image of what we thought was going to be. And here we find Isaiah, and he comes into this place where he sees God, where he sees what is taking place, and he sees these seraphs that are worshiping God, and he sees who God is. And all of a sudden, he sees who God is, and he realizes that he is not God. And it begins to ruin him. Anything that he thought he was that was not of God, anything that he had done that was not of God, anything that he had forgotten, it wipes that out, and it ruins the image of what he had of himself that was outside of God. And it is this very humbling experience. And he comes to this place where he goes, I am ruined. Some translations of the Bible say doomsday, as if to say Isaiah is saying, maybe I should just be dead. See, when you have an encounter with God, a true encounter, it will ruin you in such a way that it will wipe everything out that is not of Him and allow you to start fresh from that point. When you allow God just to ruin your life, when you begin to see God for who He really is, and you begin to compare yourself to who He is, and you realize you are not God, it begins to break your heart. It begins to humble you in such a way that you realize this whole thing of, God, I am just not worthy of your presence. But God, because of who you are, I'm not worthless. And that's what we find out that's going on with Isaiah as we continue to read. Isaiah in verse 5, he says, Woe to me, I am ruined. For I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. And then one of the seraphs flew to me with a live coal in his hand, that he taken with tongs from the altar. And with it he touched my mouth. See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, and your sin atoned for. Then I heard a voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And Isaiah said, Here am I, send me. See, when this thing takes place, when you are ruined, when you allow God just to come into your life in such a way, there's some stuff that's going to happen. One thing that's going to happen, Isaiah said, I am a man of unclean lips. Isaiah said, I realize there's stuff in my life that is not of God. There's this impurities that have taken place. And not only that, he said, and I live among people of unclean lips. And he was able to begin to look around and say, I realize that the place I live is not godly. And his heart begins to break for these things. And once that happens, once this thing in his life where he has been ruined takes place, he becomes aware that he's a sinful person. He becomes aware that he lives in a world that is sinful. All of a sudden, you move from a place of just observing, as Isaiah was sitting there watching all this, to being a participant. I mean, the angel flies over and it touches his lips with this live coal, and Isaiah is forgiven of this. And God says, Who will we send? And Isaiah says, Send me. He has moved from the spot where he's watching this whole deal, where he's seeing what's going on, to a point where he's going, Put me in. And this is the incredible thing about it. Isaiah says, Here am I, send me. And God said, All right, go tell this people, who will be ever hearing but never understanding, be ever seeing but never perceiving. Make the heart of this people callous, make their ears dull, and close their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. God says, I'm going to send you to a place where nobody's going to listen to you. I'm going to send you to a place they're not going to get it. And so you guys, you live in a world that's like that. I mean, the hallways of your school, and quite possibly even the house that you live in, they don't get it. And this is the kind of place that God is sending Isaiah to. And Isaiah's response to this is incredible. This is Isaiah's response in verse 11. Then Isaiah said, For how long? Not this kind of thing where he goes, are you crazy, God? You want me to tell who about what? It's not this kind of thing where Isaiah's going, no, what about the other? Can I go somewhere else? Is there another option here? He just simply says, how long do you want me to go? And God responds. He says, until the cities lie ruined, without inhabitant, until the houses are left deserted and the fields ruined and ravaged, until the Lord has sent everyone far away and the land is utterly forsaken. It's one of these things where God is saying, I want you to go until there's nobody left. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to respond to you. And Isaiah has come to this part in his life where he has been ruined by God. And he has come to a place where he realizes that he is not God and there's stuff in his life that he just needs to lay before God. And God forgives him of that. And in that moment, Isaiah says, I will go wherever you want me to go. So there's this thing when you're ruined before God and when this encounter takes place, there's no way you can stand before God and not be moved. There's no way that you can stand before this holy, holy, holy God and not be changed. And Isaiah says, I will go wherever you want me to go for how long ever you want me to go. And what Isaiah understood is something that we've got to understand. His success was not based on how people responded to him. Too often in our world and in our lives, we think that to be successful, it's going to depend on how people respond to us. Isaiah understood that his success was simply based on how he responded to God. God, I'll go, and I'll go however long you want me to go for. And when your life is ruined in such a way by God, you begin to understand that the only thing that really matters in your life is how you respond to Him. And you come to a point where you just say, God, this is everything I've got. God, I'll give you every single thing. I just want to go for you. And I want to live a life for you. I just want to respond to you the way you want me to be. But it's got to begin with us being ruined before God and allowing Him to take our lives. And if it's not of Him, just to push that out and to ruin it, to wipe it out so that He can build His kingdom for His glory in us and through us. I'm going to invite you guys just to where you are. Just take some time to pray. God, ruin me. Just pray, God, this is everything I've got. I want to give it to you. God, anything that's not of you, you just ruin that. And I'm going to invite the band to come back up and just allow them to play over you. As you guys just pray this prayer, God, ruin me. God, ruin me. God, that's my prayer. God, the stuff that's in my life that is not of you, God, I pray that you would just give me wisdom to see it. God, if you can just take it from me, then just take it from me. But God, if I need wisdom to see it, to just give you everything, then God, give me wisdom to see it. Give me humility in my life. God, I just pray that you will ruin us this weekend. God, that we can have an encounter with you in such a way that it will mark our lives, that we will know that it is you. God, that you will ruin us. God, that you will break our hearts, not only for the sin in our life, but for the sin that's around us. And that, God, we may move into just an active role of what you're doing, to be able to say sin to us. God, that we would never be able to just stand in your presence and just not move at all. But God, that you would send us. And we know that simply by responding to you, we are fulfilling purpose in the life that you've given us. God, I pray that you will ruin us.
Well, guys, I hope you really enjoyed what Scott had to say and what God said through him, through Ruined. If God is speaking to you right now and you need to talk to somebody, please pick up the phone and dial 1-88-NEED-HIM. Again, that's 1-888-NEED-HIM. And there are people standing by that are there to help you and talk to you and minister to you. And if you want to check out more about Refuge and Taylor Road Student Ministries, you can go to TaylorRoadStudents.org. Again, that's TaylorRoadStudents.org, and you can check it out. And we meet every Wednesday night at 6:30 at Taylor Road Baptist Church, and we'd love to have you come and worship with us. So we hope to see you there.